I'm so excited! I've been wanting to talk about this game for years. Rayman Origins, one of my favorite games. It is exquisitely enjoyable, stunningly gorgeous, and confusingly horny. What a roller coaster ride this series has been. It all started with a deceptively whimsical side-scroller on the PS1 that showcased Ubisoft's utter disdain for video gamers. Delightful to look at and listen to, an absolute bitch to play. If you simply must play OG Rayman, go with Redemption, the fan-made update. It is quite the redemption indeed. And then we got the very definition of a tonal shift with Rayman 2, The Great Escape. Why is it called The Great Escape when you relinquish yourself from captivity within the first 5 minutes? Beats me. No more vibrant colors and saving the land from the evil Mr. Dork. Now it's rampant industrialization, slavery, and this. The dev team must have gotten the message that OG Rayman was punishingly hard, because this game is easier than a romp through spring breeze, except for that damn water skiing level in the swamp. Rayman 3, Hoodlum Havoc, would be more combat focused, and edgier.
That boy ain't right.
And then he'd start getting phased out with the Rabbids series, which piggybacked off his name to boost sales. That's rough, buddy. Spyro knows a thing or two about that. What's the guy been up to today? Well, DLC and Mario plus Rabbids that pokes fun at him apparently being a washed-up character, and a role in Captain Laserhawk, where he gets drunk, snorts coke, eats sushi off the back of a naked cow lady, and suits up in a stereotypical mass shooter outfit before gunning down a bunch of dudes. What the hell is this? Rayman isn't supposed to have arms?
Don't rattle me bones!
All jokes aside, this is disgusting. Travesties like this are what the phrase, "is nothing sacred anymore," was made for. Imagine if Nintendo released a game where Fox McCloud knocked up Crystal, had to start paying child support, and developed a crippling heroin addiction before eventually blowing his own brains out. Wow, what a messed up image to give a beloved childhood character. Way to go, Ubisoft. Any other cherished mascots you feel like destroying? I really don't care for this company. But let's put all that nonsense aside. I'm not here to bum you out with how Rayman's treated today. I'm here to tell you about when he starred in one of the best side-scrollers, hell, one of the best video games just ever made. In 2011, the big three consoles of the era were graced with Rayman Origins, and the gaming public responded with a resounding, Reviews were very positive, but it still only managed 50,000 sales in its first month in the US. I blame the commercial. Look, I like Cal Penn as much as the next guy, but a game with this much character and charm needs a commercial that can capture our imaginations, and Cal Penn smack-talking with a kid does not.
You think your mom regrets getting pregnant?
This dude is about as exciting as that guy from the Clear Eyes commercials.
Clear Eyes is awesome.
Hyper Load Runner is boring to play, boring to look at, boring to listen to. It's just really, really boring. But damn, this commercial sure does get me interested in checking it out. All this one makes me want to do is watch Harold and Kumar, preferably with some White Castle. There is another reason it didn't do well. Guess what came out just 4 days earlier?
Wow.
The game starts with our crew of heroes enjoying maximum levels of chill. They be chillin' so hard you could put lyrics to it. Glowbox over here dropping sick beats on the mic. But the folks from the land of the livid dead don't appreciate the racket and arrive to deliver a Brooklyn beatdown. But our heroes are ready to spring into action, and it's really catchy.
I'm not sure if they're done, but it's got a great beat.
But they eventually get overwhelmed by sheer numbers and end up locked in cages. Too bad they underestimated the power of the jump button. Who needs the lockpicking lawyer when you've got Rayman? And as far as story goes, that's about it. Murphy says something about the old master going nuts and needing a bunch of Electoons to fix him, but I never knew who he was talking about. I don't think he means this guy. He seems fine enough. Maybe he's talking about the true final boss, but I'm getting ahead of myself. We have a whole world full of wonders to behold, starting with the gibberish jungle and its amazing theme. It starts with this really catchy beat using a jaw harp. and evolves into what sounds like, I don't know, secret agent music? This series tends to place a special focus on music, and Rayman Origins is the peak of that design philosophy. The soundtrack gets really creative without sounding too obtuse or bizarre, using lots of fun instruments like didgeridoos and a ukulele. Hell, it even turned a mosquito into an instrument. I know how y'all get when I start gushing about music, so we'll move on. Just know that out of my massive collection of video game OSTs, Origins is one of my favorites.
Holy moly.
Well, I guess it's time we talk about what you've all been expecting, judging by the thumbnail. Barely a few seconds into level 1 and we encounter our first fairy. Yeah, I know, they're technically nymphs, but considering a certain extension of that term existing, I would rather not use it, especially since they're so... Okay, I'm just gonna be blunt. They did not have to make them this hot. Oh, I'm the weird one? Just look at them! Look at the booty shake! That was intentional. This one isn't even a new character. It's Batilla from the first game. You'd be forgiven for not recognizing her. She went from looking a trifle frumpy in her wizard robe to... I guess this is what they call a glow-up? The debut trailer even leaned into this sexualization in a kinda upsetting way.
Unmanageable.
That boy ain't right.
I'm guessing the character designer took inspiration from Way Forward's approach to the female form. Hey, I'm not even complaining. I enjoy me some thick fairies, and plus they're just a small portion of the game, granting powers and opening the way to new levels. I just thought it was worth discussing because, well, it's downright bizarre. Any amount of horniness in a Rayman game is highly unusual. Imagine if Sega put sex appeal in a Sonic game. How strange would that be? What? They did? 25 years ago?
They all want to have sex with Big the Cat.
Origins runs on the UbiArt framework, a game engine designed to tie all these gorgeous graphics together in a way that doesn't require a finger-cramping amount of coding. It became the go-to Rayman engine for a while, powering Legends and a bunch of mobile games. It was so useful that it actually branched out to some other titles, including Child of Light, Valiant Hearts, Gravity Falls, Legend of the Gnome Gemulets, I don't know, and every Just Dance game from 2013 to 2021. I thought this was worth looking into because I wanted to know how such a good-looking game came to exist. The first Rayman was a real looker for sure, but it pales in comparison to Origins' poetry and motion visuals. They're so expressive and full of personality. The Desert of Didgeridoos has these ethereal streaks of musical notes floating by as if being carried on the wind, further selling the focus on music. It's a lot like Bandland, without making me want to tear my non-existent hair out. The gibberish jungle is the very definition of vibrant. Lush foliage, sunbeams everywhere, waterfalls, and Batilla's castle in the background. It arguably gets even more beautiful when thunderstorming. And then another level takes you into the jungle's depths where the rain runoff provides platforming challenges. A perfect blending of visual themes and gameplay mechanics. C'est magnifique. While I'm not as fond of the fifth world from a musical standpoint, the Mystical Peaks is a visual treat for fans of snowy locales. These blustering mountains have a way of making you feel tiny and vulnerable. It's just a shame that chipmunks doing monk chants doesn't appeal to me. Oh god, they're chipmunks. The Sea of Serendipity. Man, this game is just full of fun things to say. I've played a lot of water levels in my day, but I think these are my favorite. Origins was actually my first Wii game, and back then, I would play freaking Flipper over and over. I'd even show it to my friends. It's a great level with expert pacing and variety, but it was this one moment that left me truly speechless in a way a side-scroller had never done before. Oh, breathtaking. That's how you do atmosphere in a game. But then you pick up the Kinglum and it kinda kills the vibe. Guys, come on, learn to read the room. Now I'll bet you Origins fans are thinking I forgot the best world. Don't worry, I'm saving that delicious little treat for later. Perfect isn't a word you hear very often in this modern era of video games. I mean, let's face it, they just don't make them the way they used to. So listen up, because I'm about to drop a bomb on you. The controls in Origins aren't just perfect, they're utterly sublime. Stupendous even. Running and jumping feels immediately fluid and intuitive, unlike OG Rayman, which was slow and rigid and slow. In that game, you would throw hands by throwing your hands, but now attack options have been greatly expanded. You can still charge up your punch because Rayman hasn't forgotten his roots yet, but with all the better offensive options, it's never really needed. If you're using this attack, it's to make a statement, and that statement is... Falcon! You're much better off using the new dash attack, which you can jump out of for a boost of speed. Or you can be old-fashioned and take the ground to Pound Town. But this isn't your dad's butt stomp that takes forever and a day to wind up. Pressing down an attack equals instant results and instant gratification. It triggers so fast that newcomers might actually find it kind of jarring. Till they get used to it, then they can't imagine ground pounding any other way. You can punch up, do a flying kick, sweep, slide, glide with your hair, wall jump, wall run, and on a few occasions you get a power-up that lets you shoot projectiles for a bit. Because like I said, this was before Rayman forgot his roots. A shame it only shows up near the end of the game. There's even this funky rolling attack that I didn't figure out how to use until the credits. Credits that go on just entirely too long. Of course, if you're feeling old-fashioned, you can just jump on enemies to bubblefy them. Yeah, that's a weird little quirk that was later removed in Rayman Legends. Enemies don't just die after the first hit, they turn into a bubble and start floating up. I get the impression the devs intended for this to be a vital mechanic for platforming, and there are a few occasions where it's useful, but most of the time it slows you down since you have to hang around and double tap for the second lum, which I recommend you do because nothing is more annoying than just barely missing the lum requirement for an Electoon. You can't even skip or speed up these scenes, so you gotta slowly watch your numbers come up short. One of my very few gripes with this game. Hey, whoever you are, would you quit doing the Mega Mean thing and start contributing? Honestly. Of course, lums can also be picked up like any other side-scroller MacGuffin, but with a neat little twist. If you pick up a king lum, all of his servants will start rejoicing for a few seconds and become double the value. The charm in this game knows no bounds. You can also find doubloons tucked away in hidden or dangerous locations. Manage to carry them far enough away and you'll get a nice little chunk of lums. It'll still pop if you hang around, but I think it gives a reduced amount. Not sure. What I am sure of is some of these are an absolute bitch to get.
It's gonna blow every ounce of your mind apart. Whoops, whoops, whoops!
And just for an extra little bit of smart design, picking up a free hit heart when you already have one gives you another handful of lums. I mentioned that lums are for earning Electoons at the ends of levels, but there are also hidden side areas that offer a quick challenge for more. And the great thing about these areas is that you don't have to scour entire levels for them, since they have an audio cue that lets you know when there's one nearby. This works great, about 99% of the time. There are at least 2 occasions where the audio cue would be going off at the end of a section, but the secret would be at the beginning of the next section. Most of these doors don't let you go back for some reason, so instead of being able to check the other side of the door, I had to jump around like an idiot looking for a secret until I said screw it and moved on, only to go, oh! I'm both relieved and irritated. These side areas are pretty good fun. All you gotta do is take out every enemy to unlock the cage, which often involves giving your platforming skills a quick test. Sometimes they'll even give the problem-solving part of your brain a little tickle. I didn't realize till now that this level is actually a giant guitar. Man, the silhouetting combined with the background looks awesome. But this one, where you have to break through finicky ice blocks just right, not one of my finest moments. And of course, this being a game that hands out smiles by the truckload, you bet saving these little dudes is always a feel-good moment. But wait, There's more! So you had your first run through a level, you found all the Electoons, and even asserted your dominance by going above and beyond on the Lum count. That means you're done, right? Wrong. The devs knew that deftly gliding through levels with all the grace of a Kaizo master was fun as hell. So they added a reason to do so with time trials. Do well and you'll earn the final Electoon. Do really well and you'll earn a trophy. I assume there were online leaderboards, and that's the only feature that's no longer supported on Steam. Now, far be it from me to go to bat for Ubisoft, but dude, calm down. It's not like this game had online multiplayer, and you just know half of those leaderboard times were cheated. No big loss here. On the subject of Steam, this is one of the few Ubisoft games that came out before they started forcing Uplay onto everybody. Imagine that. You can buy the game on Steam and play it on Steam.
Are you ready for a miracle?
Incorporates third-party DRM. No third-party DRM. Okay. Lots of games like to switch up the playstyle every once in a while, you know, to add variety and keep players on their toes. Oftentimes it's with a puzzle, but more often than you'd think, it's with a shmup level. And except for maybe Nier Automata, no game has better shmup side levels than Rayman Origins. Vic Viper, Silverhawk, the Einhander? Man, just give me Mosquito and I'm good to go. Remember riding this dude in the first game, where he controlled like a garbage bag in the wind and couldn't even shoot? Well, he's back, and with some new tricks. Besides being able to shoot from his telescopic nose, he can also suck enemies in Kirby style and send them screaming at foes. Whether they're screaming due to the sheer horror of being inside of a mosquito's proboscis, or rocketing across the screen at terminal velocity, I don't know, you be the judge. There's this really neat part in the Sea of Serendipity where the level goes silhouetted like from DKC Returns, which resulted in me having a little trouble telling enemy flies and lums apart, since they were deliberately designed to have similar flight patterns. I don't know if I should be impressed at the idea or angry that it actually tricked me. And besides being a blast to play, these shmup levels also serve as a bit of consistent world building. In a side-scrolling platformer, imagine that. In the game's first half, they act as transitions to new worlds. You don't just unlock them and then select from a menu, you get to actually fly there and witness what the space between worlds looks like. The slow transition from a sunlit jungle to a starry night sky in the desert is absolutely stunning, and the game knows it, giving you a little quiet time to enjoy the view. These transitions happen so naturally that they're liable to creep up on you. 1 second you're dodging lightning and bombs inside the heart of a thunderstorm, and then suddenly you're coming out the other end, where a canopy of clouds and these mysterious steampunk structures await you. I could frame almost any background of this game and put it on my wall, right next to my Army of Darkness poster and Stay Positive Grim Reaper sign. These levels are way better than they have any right to be. Definitely an upgrade from the original, don't you think? I think I see why this game was called Origins. The idea was to take fundamental mechanics from the gorgeous but disappointing PS1 game and do everything better, like 100 times better. As far as second chances go, this is an ace, right up there with Final Fantasy XIV. But they didn't bring back the ability to hang, so I gotta dock a few points. Awful game. They didn't bring back the ability to hang.
I'm kind of retarded.
Perhaps they made up for it with the addition of multiplayer. I booted up Parsec since Steam Remote Play wasn't working properly, and immediately me and my thumbnail guy were having a good time. Naturally, the first thing we did was slap the shit out of each other. Later, he was hell-bent on getting a doubloon from these annoying oranges, and let's just say he is the embodiment of premature celebration.
I'm the tastiest goober. Oops.
Multiplayer in this game is great. There's even a bit of competition for the briefest of bragging rights. Whomever collects more lums gets to pose as the big booby Viking lady. See? Again with the confusingly horny.
It's not confusing. I'm just horny. Like it.
That boy ain't right.
I'm feeling a mite peckish. Could go for a bit of a nosh, know what I'm saying? I'm thinking it's time I share with you the best world in this game. The one that everybody comes away from saying, that was amazing. Welcome to Gourmandland. Tasty. I'll I'll take an ocean of lime soda over oil ocean any day. In a genre where generic grass, desert, fire, and ice themes have been done to death, in comes Rayman Origins with the most creative take on an ice world I've ever seen. The whole place is basically a big refrigerator, complete with fizzy fruit punch that's a little too carbonated, dubious cans of angler fish soda, seesawing watermelon slices, and ice skating dragon butlers. Does whatever game you've been playing lately have ice skating dragon butlers? Didn't think so. Oh, sorry, I got distracted by the fork arguing with the wall. As you do. Slippery ramps everywhere give you plenty of chances to utilize the game's impeccable sense of momentum. You also get the power to shrink down, which replaces your punches with an aerial dash attack that can even be used to gain a little extra height. This power is given to you by the fairy of this world, who, well, you do be looking like a snack. You want to know what her name is? Edith Up. This game, man.
Who's gay? Hello?
But wait! There's more! Because what's a refrigerator without a kitchen? Level 3 starts out in an icebox, but then, are we going to hell? No, we're going to the kitchen! Ay ay ay! Muy caliente! We just went from the best themed ice levels to much of the same in these fire levels, in the same world. I mean, come on, you knock corn kernels into lava to pop them and then use them for platforming, you're swinging and sliding on strings of red peppers, and there's freaking fire in a tube, and you ground pound it to heat up pots to reach high places. And of course, the place is run by fire-breathing dragon chefs, because what else could run this place? It emanates this zest for life and the jubilation of Spanish culture. If this is what they call cultural appropriation and it's wrong, then I don't want to be right. These levels had me grinning from ear to ear. How could that be wrong? The shmup level ends with a Wilhelm screaming Pepperman just chilling in a hot tub for some reason. This must be before he took up painting and tried to screw over Peppino's pizza parlor. Your first visit to each world can be considered Act 1. After reaching the mystical peaks, peak, the fairies send you back to each world to release energy from their kings and unlock the way to the next world. Now that you've gotten used to the controls and have access to all your abilities, this is where the game begins proper. Oh yeah, that's right. Act 1 is your pleasant little sightseeing tour. Enjoy it, because Act 2 is when you'll need to roll up your sleeves and start paying attention. You're not gonna skate by without at least a little pain, especially when you reach the final world, the Moody Clouds, a skybound steampunk city full of electrical hazards and enough buzzsaws to make Super Meat Boy think twice. And hey, you know that mystery guy that's been collecting our lums for the whole game? Well, it turns out he's the main baddie and has been using all of our lums to power the engine for his city. After taking down a couple mechanized versions of previous bosses, the dude pulls a Henry Stickmin and resorts to the tried and true distraction dance.
What is that? Oh, well. Go.
And then it's the game's most impressive and difficult sequence, where the city is falling all to pieces while you're platforming on debris trying to catch the guy, ending in a thrilling shmup level where you regurgitate bombs and missiles at a blimp, the same blimp that showed up hours ago in the water world. And then we Michael Bay it. right back to chilling to the max and relaxing all cool, just enjoying life, which is exactly what this game makes me do for the brief 10 or so hours that it lasts. But wait! There's more! Oh my god! I really wanted this video to be the most definitive coverage of Rayman Origins, but sadly there's one thing I just don't have the patience to show you. In order to reach the true last boss and save the last fairy, you have to collect 10 teeth from these chase levels, and they're a lot like that chase scene in the clouds where you gotta die a bunch trying to memorize each level. They're designed for people that don't easily get frustrated with games, so that rules me out. Of course, you could just look up the last level, or you can wait till Origins goes on sale to ensure the least amount of bucks going into Ubisoft's pockets and have one of the best times of your life. Ubisoft wants to say that Rayman's all washed up and a has-been. Okay, sure, let's say that's the case. But when your legacy includes a bunch of solid games and a platinum standard side-scroller that makes new Super Mario Bros. Look like a bread sandwich, then I think we can let him retire with a smile on his face. And who knows, maybe when the inevitable day comes that Ubisoft bites the dust and has to sell all their IPs, maybe a bright-eyed developer will snatch him up for a bargain price and surprise us all. Hopefully not in the way the naked cow lady did. Seriously, what the fuck?
That boy ain't right.
Would you like a video on Rayman Legends because you enjoyed my take on Origins? Well, then you gotta let me know. Likes, comments, you know the routine. This has been your boy Skelly, and I'll see you next time.